Who's being canceled this week?
Oh, I hadn't thought about.
Does the canceled party have to be someone who would like be this like be a surprise, like someone not typically canceled, or it could be literally anyone?
Think. It could be anything. It could be petty. You can be as petty as you want.
I mean,
it could just be a small ass beef, and you're just like, I'm canceling. Fuck him. He didn't say he liked me.
I think the cancellation this week has got to be, if there was any question about his career being completely in the garbage now, Matt Taibbi is done. He's done. It's over.
Second.
Yeah. I approve this motion.
Does anyone know what happened with him? So he was on like the Michael Brooks show, like, I don't know, 4 years ago.
I think they were
going to talk about Elon Musk too on that show. Like, I saw a tweet about that. And so to go from that to what he is now is so freaking crazy.
I know the answer to that question.
Matt Taibbi was friend of the Majority Report. He was in studio when I was there numerous times. Just shooting the shit, knocking on right-wingers and billionaires and all sorts of. And then there is that clip of him, knocking on Elon Musk with Michael Brooks. What happened to him is, well, first of all, the crack started to come in 2017 or 2018, whenever that old book of his about his time working for that Russian website Exile, yes. There were things written in there, him and Mark Ames. They say it's satire. People, the actual.
They also said it was satire in the book, by the way, just so we're clear, because there is discussion of like with a 15-year-old as well as a whole bunch of fucked up shit. But they said in the book this is satire. I just want to be transparent in that. And
women in Russia who were working with them at the time have come out when those allegations were being made. They came out and said, what you're reading in the book did not actually happen to us. We had good interactions with working under Mark Ames and Matt Taibbi. So take that for what you will. But those allegations that were leveled at him during the Me Too thing was the beginning. You could see him starting to turn a little bit. It's the same thing like when, you saw this with a few people, like all of a sudden the resistance libs with Glenn Greenwald started to get under their skin. And all of a sudden that era turned some people who I guess were never that staunch in their staunchly felt their beliefs. They were easier to turn around, and so that sort of was the beginning of Matt Taibbi. I don't know what turned him completely, but that was the beginning for sure.
That. Apparently that's the moment where you can actually, that Simpsons moment with Ralph, where it's like, look, this is the exact moment you can see where his heart breaks. And it's like, apparently that NPR for you is that moment for Matt Taibbi, where like they asked him and it's like they kept pressing him until he eventually started apologizing. And he was like, I'm very, very sorry. It was satire. I didn't mean to put that in the book. I'm ashamed of it, deeply ashamed. And from that moment forward, you can like track it where it's like he became more and more reactionary. I'm a little transphobic. I don't know all the questions. I don't know. Trans women in women's prisons, are puberty blockers actually genital mutilation? I don't know. Like it just started going from there.
I mean, also once you start doing that and you see the money coming in, that's it. You're done. Like you're going to be in there. Like if the money didn't matter to you, you wouldn't have done it to begin with. But once it starts pouring in, there's no coming back from it. Like Matt Taibbi and Glenn Greenwald, as long as being a right-wing reactionary brings them Substack cash, this is where they're going to go. I would love to see if there is a turnaround at some point. If like many years down the line, this is no longer a monetizable thing. Are they going to still be who they are? Are they going to turn around and jump around again? Well, at least Greenwald, though, this was always sort of who he was. With Taibbi, though, this was a complete 180 in terms of like the stuff he was putting out and who he was going after. Like with Glenn Greenwald, he just happened to align with the left on things like the NSA when, Glenn Greenwald's career was made via the Snowden files and stuff. But like we always knew that he was like one of these like right leaning at the very least libertarian types. Taibbi, though, he was a guy who was out there on the ground at Zuccotti Park with the Occupy Wall Street people. He was someone, like I said, coming into the Majority Report offices, knocking on all these right-wingers, sitting next to Sam Cedar. Like this was a guy who was portraying himself this way, and his turn is certainly the one more interesting than Glenn Greenwald's.
Yeah, it's sad. It's just so sad.